South America today has jaguars, anacondas, and caiman. Dangerous, sure, but 10 million years ago, even the birds could kill you in seconds. We're talking about a continent where herbivores weighed as much as elephants, and carnivores made T-Rex look slow. Patagonia seems peaceful now, grasslands and mountains stretching for miles. But fossil evidence from Argentina reveals something that changed everything we thought about apex predators. The Purussaurus family, better known as terror birds, stood 10 feet or 3 meters tall and could run at 30 miles per hour or 48 kilometers per hour. Meet Kelenken guillermoi, the largest terror bird ever discovered. Not to worry though, this wasn't just an oversized chicken. The skull alone measured 28 inches or 71 centimeters, longer than any carnivorous bird before or since. That's equivalent to a full-grown German shepherd standing on its hind legs. Scientists discovered the first Kelenken fossils in Patagonia's Monte Hermoso Formation in 2006, and Dr. Luis Chiappi at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles immediately recognized this changed avian predator science. The beak structure revealed something unprecedented, a hooked tip designed specifically to rip flesh combined with enough jaw strength to crush bone. But here's what makes it worse. While most large predators sacrifice speed for size, terror birds were built differently. Biomechanical studies show legs optimized for sustained sprinting across open terrain. You couldn't outrun this thing, and you definitely couldn't hide from those massive eyes positioned for binocular hunting vision. The leg structure tells the real story. Each leg bone was hollow, but reinforced with internal struts. A 2014 study from the Argentine Museum of Natural Sciences calculated those legs could absorb impact forces of 12,000 newtons during a full sprint. That's 3 times what an ostrich leg handles. Unfortunately for Miocene prey animals, South America was isolated from other continents for millions of years. This created an evolutionary arms race where predators and prey pushed each other to extremes. Terror birds weren't the only nightmare, they were just the fastest. You couldn't even escape by climbing. Fossil evidence shows these birds could deliver kicks powerful enough to shatter ribs. A 2010 study from the University of Buenos Aires calculated impact forces exceeding 1,200 pounds, or 5,300 newtons, roughly equivalent to being hit by a professional heavyweight boxer, except it's a beak aimed at your skull. Then there's Purosaurus, a caiman that made modern crocodiles look like house pets. This thing measured 41 feet or 12.5 meters long and weighed 18,000 pounds or 8,200 kilograms. That's longer than a school bus and heavier than 2 elephants. Shockingly, bite force estimates reach 69,000 newtons, 3 times stronger than T-Rex. In case you needed more proof, Purosaurus' skull structure reveals something terrifying. The temporal openings, where jaw muscles attach, were dramatically enlarged compared to modern crocodilians. This allowed muscle mass equivalent to a small car, all focused on a bite that could crush prey, measuring 6 feet or 2 meters tall. The jaw mechanics show surgical precision. Unlike modern crocodiles that grab and twist, Purosaurus could bite straight down with enough force to pulverize bone instantly. One bite meant instant structural failure of the prey's skeleton. Let's talk about the rivers, because that's where things got really bad. Modern Amazon River has piranhas and electric eels. 10 million years ago, Purosaurus dominated every waterway from Brazil to Peru. Fossil sites show these giants ambushed prey at river crossings, using tactics that made Nile crocodiles look timid. But here's the shocking part. They weren't competing with terror birds. Analysis of tooth wear patterns and prey selection shows Purosaurus specialized in aquatic prey, while terror birds dominated open terrain. This created overlapping hunting zones where nothing was safe, regardless of habitat choice. You had 0 chance surviving a Purosaurus attack. Modern saltwater crocodiles use death rolls to drown prey. Purosaurus was so powerful it just crushed victims immediately. Fossil evidence from Colombia shows prey bones pulverized beyond recognition. We're talking about impact trauma that turned skeletons into fragments. Unfortunately for anything drinking from rivers, Purosaurus could explode from water at shocking speeds. A 2015 study analyzed tail structure and calculated burst acceleration comparable to modern great white sharks. Imagine 18,000 pounds or 8,200 kilograms launching from calm water in under 2 seconds. The tail provided another advantage. Purosaurus had a tail built for explosive power, shorter, thicker, with massive muscle attachment points. This thing could accelerate to full attack speed before prey registered movement. Not to worry though, the land had worse options. Enter Thylacosmilus, a saber-toothed marsupial that looked like nothing alive today. Those canines measured 6 inches or 15 centimeters and never stopped growing. Unlike saber-toothed cats that evolved later, Thylacosmilus had specialized flanges protecting those teeth like built-in sheaths. Scientists discovered something fascinating about Thylacosmilus' hunting strategy. Unlike ambush predators, skull structure suggests active pursuit of prey. Those massive canines weren't just for killing, they were for bleeding out victims over extended chases. Talk about nightmare fuel, a predator that wounds you, then follows the blood trail. Then a 2018 study from the National University of La Plata proved something even more disturbing. Bite mark analysis on fossilized bones shows Thylacosmilus targeted the neck and throat with surgical precision. Those saber teeth were designed to sever major arteries, causing prey to bleed out in minutes, while the predator maintained safe distance from dangerous herbivores. In case you needed more proof, the jaw mechanics were insane. Modern big cats can open their jaws roughly 70 degrees. Thylacosmilus could open to 120 degrees, enough to get those massive canines around prey necks measuring 18 inches or 45 centimeters in diameter. But here's what makes it worse than any modern predator. Cats have relatively weak bite force compared to their size. Thylacosmilus compensated with incredibly powerful neck muscles. Fossil analysis shows attachment points for muscles that could drive those canines through hide, muscle, and bone with over 2,000 pounds or 9,000 newtons of force. The neck muscles reveal the true killing method. Thylacosmilus used a pullback slashing motion after initial penetration. This would rip arteries apart rather than just puncturing them. Prey died from catastrophic blood loss in under 90 seconds. You couldn't even fight back effectively. Unlike cats that use their claws in combat, Thylacosmilus relied purely on those saber teeth. This allowed it to maintain distance while inflicting fatal wounds. Prey would panic and run, accelerating blood loss and exhaustion. Unfortunately for South American megafauna, the herbivores weren't much safer. Meet Megatherium, a ground sloth weighing 8,800 pounds or 4,000 kilograms. But here's the twist. Those massive claws weren't just for reaching leaves. Fossil evidence shows defensive wounds on predator bones. Scientists discovered something unexpected when analyzing Megatherium claw structure. Each front claw measured 20 inches or 50 centimeters and could swing with enough force to disembowel an attacker. A 2012 study suggested these sloths could rear up on hind legs, creating an 11-foot or 3.3-meter tall defensive posture. Let's put the ecosystem into perspective. Modern African savannas have a roughly 2-to-1 ratio of herbivores to carnivores. Prehistoric South America had a 1-to-1 ratio in some regions. That meant constant predator pressure with nowhere truly safe to rest. You couldn't even rely on size for protection. Toxodon, a rhino-sized herbivore weighing 3,000 pounds or 1,400 kilograms, shows bite marks from multiple predator species. These animals were built like tanks but still died regularly to coordinated attacks. But here's the most interesting part. The geography created isolated populations. The Andes Mountains divided the continent, creating different predator suites on each side. Pacific-facing regions had terror birds and marsupial predators, while Atlantic regions added Purussaurus and massive anacondas to the mix. Not to worry though, the forests were worse. Fossil evidence from Brazil's cave systems reveals Smilodon populator, the largest saber-toothed cat ever discovered. At 880 pounds or 400 kilograms, this thing was 40% heavier than modern lions. Those canines measured 11 inches or 28 centimeters, longer than hunting knives. Smilodon populator wasn't just bigger than other saber-toothed cats. The forelimbs were massively muscled, designed for wrestling prey to the ground before delivering the killing bite. This cat could pin animals weighing 2,000 pounds or 900 kilograms. Then there's the time factor. These apex predators dominated South America for roughly 8 million years. That's longer than humans have existed as a species. In case you needed more proof of their success, fossils show minimal evolutionary changes over that period. They were already perfectly adapted. Scientists discovered something fascinating about predator diversity. Most continents have 2 to 3 apex predators competing. South America had at least 6 major apex species operating simultaneously, each specializing in different prey types or hunting methods. You had zero chance surviving a migration across this continent. Modern wildebeest migrations lose roughly 6,500 animals per year to predators. South American fossil sites suggest mortality rates exceeding 30% for long-distance movements. That's 1 in 3 animals dying during travel. Unfortunately, for smaller prey species, there was no size refuge. Terror birds hunted animals ranging from rabbit-sized to deer-sized. Purussaurus took anything from fish to megafauna. Thylacosmilus and Smilodon covered the middle range. Every size class had specialized killers. But here's what makes it worse than anywhere else: the climate swings. South America experienced dramatic wet-dry cycles that concentrated prey around shrinking water sources. This created killing fields where predators had guaranteed ambush opportunities every dry season. No modern ecosystem does this. African savannas are dangerous, but have refuges. Asian jungles have climbing options. South America 10 million years ago had predators in every niche: ground, trees, water, open plains, and forests. The predator density was absolutely insane. The extinction tells its own story. When North and South America connected 3 million years ago, new predators invaded southward. But here's the shocking part: many South American specialists couldn't compete with generalists like jaguars and pumas. The terror birds, specialized marsupial predators, and giant caimans couldn't adapt fast enough. Talk about evolutionary specialization. These predators were so perfectly adapted to South America's isolated ecosystem that connection to other continents spelled their doom. They dominated for millions of years, but couldn't handle competition from animals that evolved under different pressure. That's the reality of prehistoric South America, a continent where birds stood taller than humans, crocodiles weighed more than trucks, and herbivores needed tank-like builds just to survive adulthood. Modern South America is dangerous, but it's paradise compared to what ruled there 10 million years ago.